Many people don't understand why Robinhood did this, want them to be more clear. I've never seen so much vitriol in my Twitter feed with folks unhappy with his explanation. You also instituted some sort of trading limits, but were more clear about why. So tell us why you halted some securities and explain the rationale.
Yeah, for sure. So first, thanks for having me. The first thing that I would say is not all of these brokerage platforms are the same. So there's a big difference between the trading platforms and investing platforms out there. And I think M1 is much more geared and purposely built for long-term systematic investing. So M1 is not a day trading platform. You can't even place trades on the platform. It's about designing a custom portfolio, allocating to that custom portfolio, and automating it. And so we have a much more long-term oriented approach to how we do that. Because of that, the trading mentality with GameStop, AMC has been less a core component of our business. Yesterday we did about $75 million of notional trade value. Of that, GameStop was about $3 million. So it was money, but it wasn't core to our business or the like. The unfortunate scenario is due to the market dynamics that existed. There were significant liquidity concerns, risk concerns across different clearing firms, different brokerage firms, specifically as it relates to margin and options that basically shut down the way that clearance and settlement happened. And our clearing firm was wrapped up in that due to exposure with options and margin and the like. And just due to sort of concern of counterparty risk, the ability to meet liquidity needs, they shut off our access to trade certain securities. And as a result, we unfortunately had to do the same for our customer base. It's not a decision that we wanted to make, that we would have made, but the unfortunate scenario is they are our core backend infrastructure provider, and we were also reduced access, much like the retail client was.
So I believe Apex is your clearinghouse. We did reach out to them. They said to us that many brokerages limited trading on their own outside of action that Apex took. Are you one of those firms, or was it only because of what Apex, the restrictions that Apex was putting in place, that you made these calls?
From M1's perspective, it was due to our clearing firm, Apex. That the M1 is also a little bit different, with the long-term investing versus the trading. Our platform doesn't allow for intraday trading. So it's much less about buying at 10 a.m., selling at 10:30, or buying options and doing that. It's about designing a portfolio, allocating to that portfolio systematically. And as a result, we only trade twice a day. We trade in the morning and in the afternoon to allocate the customer's money to the portfolio of their choosing. Ultimately, everything went according to plan. And so we didn't miss any transactions. And so at the end of the day, the true impact to our end users was mitigated. That being said, in the middle of the day, it looked like we were going to be unable to trade solely as a rationale that Apex placed on us. And as a result, we informed our client base of that and have suffered the ramifications. And I'd say probably rightfully so. We are the retail consumers' access to the markets, and we unfortunately had to shut them out, much like we were shut out.
Now, M1 has seen a surge in popularity over the last week. Apptopia says you have the third highest percentage gain in downloads week over week, more than Robinhood. Robinhood, do they deserve, in your view, the backlash that they are getting at this point?
I think Robinhood has done things incredibly well and been a big force in the industry and been a true leader. And then they've had big missteps that have been reported on broadly. I think the tough, the Wall Street bet crew at Reddit, I think had one of the best trades of all time. That should go, head to head against the Ackman trade in the COVID time, against George Soros breaking the Bank of England. And they were on the massive winning side of that bet, and the rules of the game were changed as they were winning. So I completely understand the vitriol, the unfairness that I do think when people go to a platform that is promoting trading, option trading, and that ability, there's a reasonable expectation that you can do that in many different market environments. And so I completely understand.
Robinhood seems to be taking an outsized share of the vitriol, because they have all these other relationships with which some people don't understand. Do you think that's fair, or do you understand the call that Robinhood made?
I think the Robinhood call, any other brokerage call that was done, it was more or less because they had to. I think they lacked the liquidity for clearing the trades and placing the regulatory capital. And then they were exposed to massive, massive risk associated with these positions. And I think it's primarily due to them incentivizing short-term trading and option trading that, they had a platform that rose to prominence by making trading easier, making options trading easier. And as a result, a lot of people built up massive, massive positions in these things with minimal capital through out of the money calls and puts and the like. And as a result, their exposure blew up to the point where they were not capitalized to handle that book of business. And so, I think that's very different than if we were to take an M1 where we wouldn't have made that decision. We have not promoted option trading. We have not promoted short-term trading. We're very much geared towards long-term systematic ownership and have an investing mindset. It is not a trading mindset. You're not trying to time the market, but really deploy money into the investments and understand in the proportion of what you want for free. With that, I think, we unfortunately did change the game, due to the result of our access being removed. But I think that, it's how the platform has been pitched and how it has been ascended to prominence is really the reason for the vitriol that exists.
So, in your view, what do you think needs to be changed about the system? What should a company like Robinhood change, or any of these other market participants? Because Wall Street Bets doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and some of these folks are holding on to their shares just to prove a point, even though they could sell them right now and make a ton of money.
Yeah, it's a new phenomenon. This isn't something that we can relate to something that happened, a year ago or 2 years ago. That being said, I do think when a platform rises to prominence, offering an ability to trade, option trade, and the like, getting access removed when people somewhat need it the most, or when it's going in their favor, it does feel unfair. Our users were hurt far more than M1 was, but we felt the same thing when our access was removed. It's the rules of the game are changed halfway through, and I think if you're encouraging that type of behavior and becoming the outlet for that behavior, you have to be able to support that type of business.